Hey Craig and guys, this is a little video about the Shopsmith in terms of what you want to look for when you go and buy one. So this is the Shopsmith that I bought. There is a plate down here on the front. Well, somewhere here it is. On that plate on there, it kind of gives you information about the serial number and stuff like that. It's 115 volts. It'll draw quite a bit of current, especially when it's on a high speed and you have a little bit of a drag on the engine or on the motor. So you want a good 30 amp supply of power. The parts that you need to know about are that this is called the headstock. This big piece right here, this part right here, this is a speed control, and as you turn this, it changes some concentric belts inside there and expands and contracts some pulleys to increase the shaft speed. Now this is an output shaft that drives an attachment. There's another gear. This is a scroll saw over here, but there's a little another one of these that goes on there, and there's a little tool that goes between the two that gives you your ability to drive the tool. And there's two different speeds. So this turns at the normal speed, and then this is a high speed output shaft. This is used for like the joiner. So if you look over here, this is the joiner, right? And that sits down in these holes. There's a thing right here that you can turn, and it's this bandsaw will lift off, and the joiner will go in its place. And that drives it. So the shaft on the joiner comes out right about there and connects onto this lower one, and it's a high speed. The main point that I wanted to mention though is that this model, if you look, there's a way to attach on this end and also a way to attach on this end. And that's important because if you only have the ability to attach on one end, it kind of limits what you want to do. So some of the ones that you were looking at, Craig, I noticed didn't have any way to attach on this end, which is on the left side, and that's pretty important, all right? The other thing is that the head unit itself, you want to check to make sure if you pull, let me undo this right here. This is called the quill, right? And it gives you the ability to move the shaft in and out. It should move smoothly, but when you wiggle it back and forth, there shouldn't be a whole lot of slop. Like you hear that just little click click click, there's barely any movement there. That's good. If you got a lot of slop or a lot of slop this way, that's not good. These locking mechanisms control the quill lock, and you have this gives you the ability to set the depth. So if I set this on, like right here, I've got it on 2. If you look right there, I got it on 2. If I tighten that down and then use this, it'll do 2 inches and then lock. Oops, it slipped. But anyway, that's how you use that, okay? The other thing that's really important about these is these weigh tubes. The weigh tubes, a lot of times guys, if they don't take care of it, they'll get all rusty, and if they're rusty, it just really sucks because it's hard to move the tool. So if you think of like a hydraulic cylinder, how shiny it is, that's really what it should look like. And that just gives it the ability to move easily on the track, and you want it to be able to move easy. If you do find one that looks to be in pretty good shape, other than the fact that these are rusted, you can get new weigh tubes on eBay for like 50 bucks or less. So that's a possibility as well. You'll notice that I have mine up on a platform And the reason that is that it's just a little bit short for me, so I kind of raised it so that it would be in a better position for me for when I do turning and stuff like that, because you really want to move your body, and you don't want to be all hunched over. The end plate back here, this is an important component if you want to do any sort of lathe work. And you can see, I'm just going to loosen this up right here. The way this comes off is the same way that that bandsaw down there would come off. But this gives you the ability to, you know, use a lathe. This has a, it's a number 2 Morse taper. So you can actually take that that end piece off and put on like a Jacob's chuck if you want to. So this little piece right here, you want to make sure is in good shape. A lot of times guys will over tighten this bolt and strip this concentric out. And this is a unique thing, a unique feature of the Shopsmith, because you can actually change this concentric, which puts the actual turning out of round by these increments. And so you can make some pretty, you can do different types of things on this lathe that you can't on other lathes because of the ability to use that concentric. Also, you'll notice that there's a on the end down here, there's a little latch that lifts up. This whole unit lifts, it lifts up, if you see. It lifts up and it'll go into like a vertical drill press. So you just want to make sure that the latch is working correctly. And also, if you, again, guys will sell this hinge piece, you know, on eBay pretty reasonably, so you can take bits and pieces and kind of assemble things back together. The skirts on the side are good, and you want to definitely make sure that you get the wheels. This has the what you do is you hit it with your foot, and when you do that, it'll start to roll, and then it drops. So that's how that works. I use this Johnson's Pace Wax on my way tubes and stuff, just to keep them in good shape. So I've got this bandsaw. All right. This is the rip fence that came with it. This is a collar for the table saw. The belt, or 12-inch disc sander. I've got tables, and you can see, like, these tables, if I wanted to take out this end and put that on instead and then cut like a piece of plywood, I could do that as well. I've also got the mortar gate, or the I don't even know what the hell you call that, the thing that you use to do angles and stuff with the table saw. And all of this stuff came with it. So there's the saw guard, and then let's see. Oh, this is the speed reducer. The speed reducer goes over the end of kind of like a snorkel off of the end of that guy right there, and it just slows that shaft speed down. So this is a very, it's almost invaluable if you're going to do, you know, big turnings and stuff like that. It came with the tool rest is right here. This tool rest, Tony was asking me when the last time I made an arc with a welder, and I said 1997. And actually, it was just this last summer, because I made this tool rest because the original one actually cracked. It's like a casting, and it cracked. So I got this tool rest. I've got another different type of tool rest, another one, and then I've got this kind of twisty one in here. This is what I was telling you about, that concentric back there. You see how that's a bad one. You see how it's all gouged up? So you just want to check those types of things. You have everything's run off of this tool here. So this tool, you use that to like do the chuck, to undo the tool, or anything that you need to adjust. You do it all with this one tool. And then I showed you the that's the joiner. This is the scroll saw. Let's see some of the other things that are important. I mean, obviously, plug in the head unit and make sure it works. This should turn relatively easy. You see how easy that is to turn? This is hard to turn. You could run into some problems. This one here, actually, the guy who had it before me actually rebuilt it. And what happens is that there's a, here's the old dealy bob here, but well, I don't want to pull that off. But there's gears on the back side of that sometimes can get stripped. If you always want to have the machine running when you turn that gauge. If you try to turn it when it's off, you're just kind of binding everything up, so you don't ever want to do that. That's about it. Let's see if there's anything over here. No, I think that's about it. But the main thing is that you want to make sure that you have the ability to make an attachment here and the ability to make an attachment here. The newer ones have an actual better table structure. Let me show you that real quick. So this is the table for the table saw. Set this down for just a second. So this is the table structure for the table saw, and the newer ones, you can see how it would, if you took this off, take that chuck off and put that blade on there, and then put this over the top and lower it down. That's your table saw. And then you put your outfeed tables here and here, right? So then you have your big old table saw. But the newer ones have the ability to put on this, they have different tables. They look like they're finned aluminum, if you look, and they have tubes. And what that gives you the ability to do is put on what's called flying tables. And you'll have like a bar that comes out here, and then you can put like a table like out here in space. So that's what the newer ones do. But to be honest, I don't really use that table saw that often because I have this Bosch over here that I just pull out from under the counter whenever I need it. That's about it. If you're interested, and this is for Steve Brooks, if you're interested in turning, the Shopsmith is very good for turning, especially with that speed reducer. But you will have to invest in a chuck. And this is, you know, if you think, I bought this entire thing with all of this stuff for 500 bucks, and I paid almost 200 just for that. So this chuck, it's a precision tool, and it's used to hold the work in specific ways to do different things. So this, you don't have to have it, but it's most guys do these days. So if you're going to have a good system, you want to have a chuck, okay? You want to have a good live center. This makes it easy to work with when you're doing turnings and stuff like that. And of course, you're going to want to have some decent tools. So these are the ones that I made in that other post, but I'm pretty proud of them because they work really good. And that's like a cobalt, 5% cobalt tool steel. And you know, if you're interested in how to make these things, I can show you that as well another time. I have a lot of good lighting here. You'll want some you know, some calipers and things like that for measuring. You always need sandpaper. I like these multi-pack. They're like 25 bucks, and you get all kinds of different grades, and you can just tear off little pieces as you need it. And then, of course, you're gonna need, you know, your finishing stuff. This is Pens Plus. A lot of lacquer, sander sealer, lacquer. Things like that, oiled linseed oil, and that is about it. So if you have questions about it, definitely let me know, and I'll help you, you know, figure out like what you need and stuff. But definitely try to get something like mid 90s or newer. The really old stuff is just, you know, I always say well bought's half sold. So, you know, guys just don't want that old stuff. You know, I'm talking about the old greenies and stuff like that, and the ones that only have an attachment on, you know, like one side. So that's about it. Let me know if you need any help, and I'll let you. Oh, by the way, before you guys decide that I'm a murderer or something, this thing right here is actually what I use to make these burn marks in the wood. So as the piece is turning, you put that, you use this to make that burn. So that's what that tool is. It's not a garrote, it's a wood burner. That's about it. All right, so I'll see you later.